General Hospital spoilers teaser. The custody battle between Micheal and Willow in court is not just a typical legal dispute. It is a high-stakes war, laced with cunning schemes and brutal tactics designed to push everyone involved into an inescapable corner. Willow, with all her hope and determination, is fighting fiercely to keep custody of her children. Yet, she finds herself at the mercy of Micheal, who is playing a ruthless game, willing to do anything to tear apart her relationship with her children. But the revelations that come to light in this battle are far more than mere slander. One of the most shocking truths lies with Nina, who is desperately trying to conceal a secret that could destroy everything. Nina is caught in a web of deceit and manipulation, and although she doesn't know exactly who is threatening to expose her, she knows it's coming from a very familiar source, Micheal. The story behind the leaked information is tangled and painful. To protect herself and her family, Nina has done everything in her power to keep her affair with Drew a secret. This is the secret that, if exposed, could shatter the bond between Willow and her mother forever. If Willow were to learn that her mother had an affair with Drew, the fragile mother-daughter relationship they have fought to maintain would collapse completely, leaving a rift that could never be repaired. As the court proceedings unfold, Micheal employs every strategy at his disposal to ensure that Willow loses the battle for custody, not just because of his own desire to take control of the children, but also because of a dark secret that Nina is hiding. Michael's tactics are ruthless. He is determined to use any weapon, legal or otherwise, to destroy Willow, and he knows that revealing Nina's hidden past with Drew would deal the final blow. It's a dirty, calculated move to turn the tide in his favor and win the battle, even if it means betraying those closest to him. Nina is now facing the terrifying prospect that her long-held secret may no longer be safe. The leak of this information has already put her in a precarious position, and as the court case progresses, the threat of it being exposed grows ever more imminent. What's worse is that, despite her best efforts to control the narrative, it's clear that Micheal has been one step ahead all along. He is using the possibility of revealing the truth to manipulate the situation to his advantage, all the while playing the role of the victim in front of the court, painting Willow as the unfit mother. In this high-stakes game, Nina is left with only one option to protect everything she holds dear. She must make sure that Willow loses this battle. By doing so, she believes she can keep the truth hidden and prevent the fallout that would destroy her relationship with her daughter and her family. But as the courtroom drama intensifies, Nina is forced to reckon with the consequences of her actions. Every maneuver she makes only adds fuel to the fire, and it's becoming increasingly clear that her carefully constructed world is beginning to crumble. The question now is whether Nina will be able to maintain control, or whether the truth will inevitably come to light, changing everything for all involved. As the final moments of the trial draw near, Michael's cold determination and Nina's desperation create a powder keg of emotions, each move carrying the potential to alter the fate of their families forever. It's a battle of wills, a struggle that goes beyond just the custody of children. It's about preserving dignity, protecting secrets, and holding on to the fragile relationships that still stand. The next move could be the one that seals everyone's fate, and it seems that no one is safe from the wreckage that lies ahead. As Carly, fully aware of the illicit affair between Nina and Drew, watches the pieces of her life fall into place, she recognizes an opportunity that could not only tip the scales in her favor but utterly destroy Nina in the process. Carly, ever sharp and calculating, understands the power of the information she holds. The affair itself, while damning, is just the beginning. She's aware of a far darker secret, one that Nina has worked tirelessly to keep hidden. In the complex web of lies and deceit, Carly has learned of Nina's involvement in a far more insidious act. She believes that Nina, in a desperate attempt to keep Drew under her control, paid for a prostitute to drug him, effectively forcing Drew into a compromised position. This revelation is devastating, and Carly knows the full weight of what it could mean if it were to be exposed. But Carly's actions are not just a reaction to her own sense of betrayal. This isn't a moment of lashing out in anger or revenge. No, Carly has something far more significant in mind. She recognizes that this is her moment to strike at the heart of Nina's carefully constructed world. While Nina believes she has everything under control, Carly sees a vulnerability in the woman who has tried to take everything from her, and she knows just how to exploit it. This is not simply about the affair between Nina and Drew. This is about Carly's ability to dismantle Nina's entire life, to take away the power and protection that Nina believes she has. It's a chess game, and Carly has just found her winning move. In that moment, Carly's strategy becomes clear. She will not only accuse Nina of being complicit in Drew's drugging but will ensure that this truth, as horrifying as it is, will come to light in the most destructive way possible. Carly knows that if she can expose Nina's involvement in such a vile act, she will strip her of any remaining credibility. The revelation would tear apart the fragile alliances Nina has with everyone around her, especially Drew. For Nina, the consequences would be catastrophic, far worse than the affair itself. It would not only shatter her reputation but also put her relationships, particularly with Willow, in jeopardy. Carly, in her cold, calculating way, sees the opportunity to take Nina down, and she isn't about to let it slip away. The stakes of this revelation go far beyond a mere family dispute or a personal vendetta. Carly understands that, in exposing Nina, she is opening the door to a whole new battlefield. She is not just tearing apart Nina's reputation, but she is also claiming power for herself, reclaiming a sense of control over a situation that has long slipped from her grasp. By making Nina the villain, Carly positions herself as the protector, the one who did what was necessary to ensure that the truth prevailed, no matter the cost. In Carly's mind, this is her chance to reset the power dynamic, to make Nina the one who is on the defensive, scrambling to salvage whatever remains of her dignity and influence. But Carly's maneuvering is not without risk. Nina, for all her flaws, is not a woman who will go down without a fight. The moment Carly's accusations are voiced, the battle lines are drawn. Nina will not allow Carly to destroy everything she's worked so hard to build. She will fight back with all the weapons at her disposal, including her own set of lies, manipulation, and power plays. However, the critical difference is that Carly has the upper hand right now. She holds the truth, and truth, no matter how ugly, is the most powerful weapon in the world of deception and manipulation. As the courtroom drama unfolds, Carly's accusations hit like a bombshell, leaving everyone reeling. The room is filled with tension as Nina tries to maintain her composure, knowing that the secret she's kept hidden for so long is now exposed for all to see. The repercussions are immediate and devastating. Relationships that once seemed unbreakable begin to crack. Drew, who thought he had moved past his complicated relationship with Nina, is forced to confront the truth of what she has done. Willow, still reeling from the earlier revelations, now faces the horrifying possibility that her mother may not be the person she thought she was. The walls are closing in on Nina, and every move she makes to protect herself seems only to make things worse. For Carly, this is a moment of triumph. The game has changed. No longer the woman who was betrayed, she is now the one holding the cards, the one who has the power to dictate the terms of the fight. She watches as Nina tries, unsuccessfully, to defend herself, knowing that the truth is far too damaging for her to survive unscathed. Carly sees the terror in Nina's eyes and feels a rush of vindication. This is not just about payback, it's about reclaiming what she believes is rightfully hers, the power, the respect, and the family. In Carly's mind, this is the moment she's been waiting for, the moment when everything comes together, when all the pieces fall into place. But Nina, though cornered, will not go down easily. As Carly watches with satisfaction, Nina begins to spin a new web of lies, trying to reframe the narrative, trying to cast herself as the victim of a malicious plot. But it's too late, the damage has been done. Carly's revelations have already shifted the balance of power. The question now is not whether Nina will be able to recover, but whether Carly's next move will be just as lethal. For Carly, this battle is far from over. She's playing a long game, one that could have lasting consequences for everyone involved. As the dust settles, she knows that she has won the first round. But Nina, for all her faults, will undoubtedly strike back. This war is just beginning, and Carly is determined to ensure that she remains on top, no matter the cost. As Carly publicly reveals the secrets in court, Willow is not only left stunned by the shocking information about Nina and Drew but is also forced to confront the emotional devastation of everything she has believed in being torn apart. The foundation of her trust, particularly in Drew, is shattered in an instant. For Willow, Drew was not just a partner but someone she had invested her heart and soul into, believing in their connection despite the chaos surrounding them. The sudden betrayal of Drew's actions, especially when intertwined with Nina's deceit, throws Willow into a turmoil she never expected. Drew, the man she had trusted with her deepest emotions, now stands as a symbol of her doubt and betrayal. The very person who was supposed to be her rock, the one who supported her through some of her darkest moments, is now at the center of a scandal that threatens to undo everything she thought she knew about him. With every word Carly utters, every damning piece of evidence she exposes, Willow's world begins to crumble. She can't reconcile the Drew she knew with the man Carly is describing, and the disillusionment is overwhelming. As Carly's accusations echo through the courtroom, Willow is forced to relive the intimate moments she shared with Drew, the promises, the declarations of love, all of it now clouded by doubt and mistrust. The woman she thought of as a second mother, Nina, is also implicated, and the betrayal is too much for her to bear. Willow's emotional fortitude, already fragile from the ongoing battle for her children, begins to falter under the weight of these revelations. What Carly has done goes far beyond mere accusations. By bringing these truths into the light, she has not just destabilized Willow's relationship with Drew. She has forced her to question everything she thought she knew about loyalty, love, and trust. Nina, who had once been a confidant, a source of maternal guidance, is now an enemy, a woman capable of actions so callous and selfish that Willow's sense of reality is shattered. Willow has always believed in family, in the bonds that tie them together, but now she sees those very bonds as fragile, perhaps even non-existent. Nina's attempts to protect herself are now transparent, and every move she makes seems to entrench her deeper into the web of lies that Carly is so expertly unraveling. The truth, once hidden in the shadows, is now out in the open, and it is a truth that Willow cannot easily escape. The emotional toll this takes on her is far more than just the loss of her relationship with Drew. It is the unraveling of everything she believed in. Willow's once firm conviction that she was fighting for what was right for her children, her belief that her family was worth protecting, is now under question. The fight for custody, which had already been a battle of emotions, now becomes something far more profound, a battle for her sense of self, for her ability to trust, and for her identity as a mother and partner. Each defensive move Nina makes to protect herself from the fallout only makes things worse for Willow. As Nina continues to spiral in her attempts to salvage what little is left of her reputation, Willow sees the extent of the damage that has been caused, not just to their families but to the fragile trust that once existed between them. What Nina had once done to safeguard her own secrets now feels like a series of miscalculations that will cost them both dearly. For Willow, it's not just about the past actions of Nina and Drew. It's about the foundation of their relationships crumbling beneath her, leaving her with nothing but a deep sense of betrayal. As the layers of deception are peeled back, Willow realizes that everything she fought for, the family she tried to protect, the relationships she tried to nurture, has been built on lies. The love she felt for Drew, the care she gave to Nina, the belief that she could keep her family intact, all of it seems like a distant memory. And the more Nina scrambles to cover her tracks, the more the truth rises to the surface, reminding Willow of just how far they've all fallen. The emotional toll this takes on Willow is immense. Her fight for her children, which had once felt like a battle she could win, now seems hopeless. The emotional breakdown she faces is not just a response to the courtroom revelations, it's a crisis of identity. She no longer knows where she stands or who she can trust. The revelation of Nina and Drew's affair shatters her belief in both love and loyalty, and now, the very thing she has been fighting for, custody of her children, seems uncertain. Every emotional tie she once held dear, every belief she had in the sanctity of family, has been fractured, and she is left standing in the wreckage, questioning everything. What Carly has unleashed upon Willow goes beyond the immediate shock of betrayal. It's a force that shakes the very core of Willow's sense of self. She no longer knows what to believe or who to turn to. The truth, painful as it is, forces Willow to confront the reality that her life has been a series of illusions. And the more she uncovers, the more she is forced to face the devastating truth. The people she loved most were capable of actions that she could never have imagined. The emotional devastation she feels now is not just about the custody battle or the affair. It's the realization that everything she thought she knew about family, trust, and love has been irrevocably altered. As the dust settles in the courtroom and the consequences of Carly's revelations begin to take root, Willow's emotional journey has just begun. The battle for her children may not be over, but the real struggle for Willow is the battle to rebuild herself after everything she thought she knew has been shattered. Every move Micheal makes, every word that comes out of Carly's mouth, all seem to converge on one singular objective: to break Willow, destroy her family, and ensure that the custody of the children falls into Micheal's hands. The stakes have never been higher, and the battle lines have been drawn. For Micheal, this isn't just about the children, it's about winning at all costs, tearing down Willow's every defense, and claiming what he believes is rightfully his. Carly, for her part, is relentless, using every weapon in her arsenal to manipulate the situation, drawing on the power of secrets, lies, and family ties to dismantle Willow's credibility and cause irreparable damage to her standing in the court of law. But as the battle for custody rages on, the truth begins to slowly seep out, threatening to undermine everything that Micheal and Carly have been so carefully constructing. What they don't realize is that the more they push to expose Willow's weaknesses, the more the truth about their own actions and the people they are so desperate to protect could come to light. The carefully curated narratives they've been spinning are beginning to unravel, and with every step they take to discredit Willow, they risk exposing their own darkest secrets. Nina, caught in the center of this storm, knows all too well the price that will be paid if her own secrets are uncovered. She's trapped in a delicate balance, where each action she takes to shield herself from exposure only seems to propel her deeper into the web of deception. She's already made choices that have bound her to a path she can no longer turn away from. If the truth about her affair with Drew is revealed, the consequences will be catastrophic, not just for her but for everyone she loves. The revelation would mean the end of her relationship with Willow, a betrayal that runs too deep to recover from, and it could destroy the fragile trust she's worked so hard to rebuild in her family. It's a dangerous game she's playing, one where the stakes are her very identity, her relationships, and her future. As the court case progresses, the tension between protecting her family and maintaining the carefully hidden secrets that could bring everything crashing down intensifies. Nina knows that she cannot keep running from the truth forever. The threats hanging over her head, the possibility that someone could expose her darkest secrets, are growing stronger, and with each passing day, she feels the walls closing in. The emotional burden is heavy, and the fear of what will happen if the truth comes out weighs on her every decision. But Nina also knows that the longer she keeps these secrets hidden, the more power she holds. The question remains whether she can continue to hold it all together, or if the weight of her lies will eventually crush her. The looming possibility of exposure is a sword hanging over Nina's head, and the longer she holds onto her secrets, the more fragile her position becomes. The question isn't whether she will be able to hold onto her secrets indefinitely, but whether she has the strength and resolve to fight back against the growing tide of threats. Will she be able to outmaneuver Micheal and Carly, whose every move seems calculated to drive her into a corner, or will she crumble under the pressure and lose everything? The consequences of her choices are more profound than she could have ever imagined. It's not just about protecting herself anymore, it's about protecting her family, her relationship with Willow, and the future she thought she had built for herself. If she is exposed, the fallout will be more than just personal. It will affect every aspect of her life, her connections to everyone around her, and her place in the world she's tried so desperately to maintain. Nina's greatest fear now is that, even with all her careful planning and strategic moves, the truth will find a way to break free. The lies she has woven around herself are becoming increasingly difficult to sustain, and with each new revelation that threatens to tear apart her defenses, she finds herself on the brink of losing everything. The deeper the lies go, the harder it becomes to keep them buried. As the case against Willow reaches its breaking point, the situation becomes a ticking time bomb. Will Nina's secrets be exposed? And if they are, how will she survive the fallout? This battle, which began as a custody dispute, has grown into something much more sinister, something that will